Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just open the verse. Yes. Hare Krishna, everybody. Wish you all a very, very happy Ramanavami. Blessed are ones who are now in Dwaraka, and more blessed are people who are in Vrindavan, who is us, because wherever there's Krishna Kada, Vrindavanya Dham actually comes over. And today is very auspicious day of Ramanavami. So thank you so much for coming here, and thanks to Pran Chaitanya Prabhu for giving me an opportunity. So we have to go to 1.19.29.
29.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So before we start with the verse, let me just give you a quick summary of what we have done so far. So can anyone remember what we spoke? So, 28 verses. Just a very quick summary of what we had discussed. Need not be in order. Whatever point you feel, you all can just tell me. Hare Krishna. So Kirtan means not just singing, and Kirtan does not mean just teaching. Kirtan is talking about Krishna. So who wants to do Kirtan? So when they first said Kirtan, I was sort of stunned initially, because I know for my voice I can never sing. So, that was like a nightmare for me. But then when I realized that Kirtan is talking about the Lord also, that gave me a lot of happiness, because irrespective of how your voice is, irrespective of how your pitch is, it doesn't matter. Because Krishna, when he hears it, it becomes Kirtan. Right? So there is a proverb in Tamil where everybody will appreciate, Veenas, the music from Veena and from other musical instruments, as long as they have not heard the music of the small child. Right? That is a newborn, like the child which starts learning to talk, barely talks, but then that voice and that tune or the style in which the child talks is so sweet. Right? So like that is we to Krishna. So when we speak something, whether we speak correctly or wrong, or whether it's nice or not nice, Krishna is very excited about the fact that we are teaching, or we are reading, or we are talking. So my request to you is, do not go by whether this is right, this is wrong. Please go ahead and do your readings and speak what you've read, and speak what you've heard, and speak what you have not done also. Go ahead. Hare Krishna.
I'll start it, Mataji. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
We are talking the context. Okay, the context we are talking is that Parikshit Maharaj has been cursed, and then he learns about it. That is what we learned out in the chapter 18. And then what are the choices he has? He has the choices of lament. He had the choice of continuously feel disgusted, or he also has a choice of going to Krishna and asking his life to be extended. However, he took a different choice. He said, okay, whatever it is, this is what he has given me. I'm going to take this as a prasadam. And then he decides to give up, go ahead. And this 7 days, he's going to, after transferring the power to his children, he just goes to the Ganges, sits on the Ganges, and wants to dedicate his life next 7 days Krishna Katha. That is the context we are talking about. Yes,
Thank you. Very nicely said. Excellent. So the context, I think Prabhu has already set the platform. Anybody would like to add to it? Anybody would like to add? Otherwise, just a very quick, a revision of what we did last 3 weeks is the first 7 verses. Parikshit actually regrets, and he accepts the curse and renounces. So, why is Parikshit regretting? Did he do something wrong? Why is he regretting? I can never tell. I have to ask questions. Otherwise, I'll doze off. So my request to all of you all is please switch on your videos whenever you can, and can you start speaking? Because the reason I've noticed is many times even I switch off the video, and I've always noticed when the video is off, we have the tendency to do other work, right? So take a minute or two and please keep the video on, and please let me know, why is Parikshit regretting? What was his regret? Hare Krishna. Anybody there? Everybody there? Come on, so many of you all. Kindly unmute yourself. Yeah, you all can unmute and tell.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sadhari, please go ahead. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. So Parikshit Maharaj regrets that he has done such a heinous crime against a faultless Brahmana. He felt that he overreacted, and what he did was actually unforgivable. He realizes that. No?
Very nice. So what happens is he starts regretting that what he did is absolutely something which he cannot even forgive himself. And why is it so? Because it is for, why is he feeling that he cannot forgive himself, or what is so abominable in what he did?
Because the Brahmana was faultless, I mean, he was meditating, and, he didn't even know that Parikshit Maharaj was present there. So he didn't do it intentionally or deliberately. He was so lost in his own meditative trance that he did not realize that he had Parikshit Maharaj at his doorstep.
Very nice. So
So-
basically, he never even realized, and he was feeling initially, though he had, because of his anger, we see this in the previous chapter, that he was a little upset as to why he was not welcome. But then later, when he comes back, he regrets, because for a Brahmana, he first of all starts contemplating whether he was really cornering him, or whether it was really he was in meditation. And obviously, there are 6 set of people who need to be taken care. What are they? Who are they, rather? Whom are we supposed to protect? Who are the category of people who need to be protected?
Women, children, the elderly, brahmanas, cows,
And the sages.
and the sages. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mantri. Very nicely said. So there are 6 set of people who needs protection, whereas king did not do that. Now, I always remember A, B, C, right? A for absolute truth, right? And B for brahmanas, and C for cow protection. So what is the link between all three? What is the connecting link? Because cow is different, brahmana is different, and obviously absolute truth is different, right? Except for the alphabets, which I've said. So what links all three together? What is the significance of the three? Anybody else? Anybody wants to? Why on silent? Come on, Ramanavami, you should have so much of energy and bring up whatever answers are there. Otherwise, it'll become a monologue. I'll be telling, always there is a thing. The person who's speaking is very involved generally, because only then the mind will work. So they will be able to take the class, they will be awake. But I have a specialty. Sometimes I speak even without involvement. So I might sleep off even while taking the class. So my request to all of you all is, please keep me awake and keep yourself awake, and please answer what I said. What is the link between the absolute truth, cow? So the first one we saw, right? Parikshit regrets, and the regret is, first of all, the devotees don't make any mistake. We have seen that. And even if there is any accidental fall down by chance, they start regretting so much, and the God always forgives them. And even what happens is, because so anyway they're forgetting, and they still keep burning in that in the fire of repentance, right? Because they feel very regretful. This sloka is there in Bhagavad Gita 9.30. Api sechu duracharya bhajatam mam ananyabhak chatureva samantavyam samyak vivasito sayah. So that means, if they make any mistake accidentally, who makes, Mataji, is it applicable for us? No, he very clearly says, Api sechu duracharya bhajatam mam ananyabhak. Who does bhajana ananyabhak all the time? Somebody who's in fact, 24/7, who somebody is thinking, means he's a very staunch devotee of Lord. Such a person makes a mistake, Krishna automatically forgives. He does not hold them or holds them responsible, so he takes care of them. If you see the next sloka, how do we know? Okay, how sure are we? So Krishna in the very next sloka he says, Chitram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantir agachati kaunteya pratijaniti name bhakta pranasyati. He is telling to Arjuna, tell loudly, declare loudly, my devotee will never perish. Why is Krishna making Arjuna tell this? Why can't Krishna himself tell, hey, devotee will not perish? Why is he making, asking Arjuna to tell? Come on, somebody. General question.
May I, Mataji?
Yeah, please. I'm very happy if somebody is active.
Actually, Krishna might be fail to keep his word, but when he'll give word to devotee, he will never fail.
Haribol, very nice.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Mataji.
even if he fails to keep his own word, he will never be able to break the word of the devotee, which is why we say the devotee of the Lord is merciful. And more than that, the Lord is like, he cannot go against the word of the devotee. So in either cases, it is very much accepted. And also Parikshit, what he says, immediately let the curse hit me. Because if it does not hit me, I will get puffed up. First of all, I've done a mistake. Right? Very rarely we will see people praying for a punishment, right? Has anyone in this class prayed for a punishment? I've never. I will never pray for a punishment. I will pray for excuse. Anyone in the class, have you all prayed for a punishment? I want to be punished. I mean, in school,
No, Mataji, no.
of course, in school, we would love to get punished because we will be outstanding student, which means standing outside the corridor. That punishment I like because I don't have to attend to class. That's a different story. But none of us like punishment, right? Thank you, Usha Mataji. So coming back, and thanks, Mataji. So where are we talking about is this concept of, he says, let it come. Otherwise, if let my kingdom, everything get burnt, and also whatever happens, personally, let it affect me. Otherwise, the family should not take a breath. We all know that the family has some amount of karma, not only the king. We saw Prabhu saying that the king, when king, owns the karma of the state, same way the family also owns the karma of the state. Many times we tell, and I've heard this from senior acharyas, we tell small child does mistake. What happens to the karma? The karma is actually absorbed by the father. So everywhere we notice, even the husband does any karma, that's a different story. But the wife does any karma. And when I'm telling karma, we all understand, right? We are talking about anything which goes wrong, impious work or anything. So the bad karma is actually taken by the husband. 50% of the bad karma of the wife is taken by the husband. And it is also said 50% of the wife's good karma, okay, stays only with the wife. But 50% of the husband's good karma, there is a mirror image. Doesn't get divided. It's not that husband takes 50 and wife takes 50. No. So Krishna, husband part takes 50% of bad and wife part takes 50% of the good. The reason I'm telling this is many times we keep questioning about equality. Why not? So there is actually, it is not about equality in terms of gender. It is about who can do what. So that is what is important here. So now here what is happening is his karma can hit the entire family. Sometimes we see the reverse also happening, right? In case of Parikshit, we saw the entire family got liberated. So not Parikshit, sorry, Prahlad, right? So, so much of blessings. Can you also think of anybody? I think Prabhu already covered this. So let me just quickly run past this because examples have been covered by Prabhu. The next one, what happens after the curse is sages are coming. Right? They are coming with the reason that they will want to take bath in the Ganges. Do the sages need purification in Ganges? Yes, no?
No.
Why?
No. They're already exalted sages. They already achieved the highest paramam state they have achieved. So they really don't need this physical activities or things like this to really reach the highest level.
Very
They're
nice.
already there.
But then in that case, why are they coming to take bath?
So, see, it's a Paramatma stage is a stage where you are always repurifying yourself, even at that highest level. And then they are coming there for repurification. So and then they know that something major is happening.
Excellent.
They were major, and that's why they came.
You know, we had this, I don't know how many of y'all have seen, but I've seen when I was there, I've seen something called the pager. Right? Pager is like a bulk SMS, like your group WhatsApp. Like that, there's a pager which is tuck, 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 one message will come, right? So invariably, I think they were also having some concept, but this is not the physical material pager, but then mental pager. So Sukadev Goswami is going to come, and this, through their Jnana Dishti, all of them came new and they came. And as Prabhu said, they were going to see that Srimad Bhagavatam is going to come. Now, we are going to see an extension of what is this discussion. We notice that normally such sages do not come and do not interact with two set of people. Do you know whom it's going to come, right? So let me give you the answer. One is women, the other one is association with people, right? In the sense like with the materialist. So we saw it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. If you see Pratap Rudra, he was not interacting at all because he never wanted to interact with the king. Now Sukadev Goswami and all the other sages who are there are also in that level. How come that they are willing to associate themselves with Parikshit? Parikshit is also a king, right? So how could they associate themselves with Parikshit?
Parikshit was a devotee all through, even before birth. So that they realize it.
Haribol, very nice. Because he was a Vishnu Rata and he was always a devotee, right? He was in the womb of the people. So this is something which we have to do. So Sukadev Goswami comes into the assembly now, right? So this assembly, all the sages are there. He takes blessings. I think it's a very common culture in North India. In North India, I think every time I've noticed, and that's something which I've really felt very good, is whenever they come out of the room, after they wake up in the morning also, they fall on the feet and take blessings. Yes or no? Yes, no? Come on, everybody, are you all there? Yeah.
Yes, that's normal for elders.
Yes, elders. I'm talking about elders, whoever are elder to us. But in South, it is very rare. We do it only on special occasions, wedding, on an auspicious day. And there are also talks telling that, if I'm in this particular star, I don't know the name of the star, but I'm just saying, if I'm born in this star, I don't have to fall on anybody's foot. They think that as a very special feature of themselves. So you can see the kind of pride people throw for the body. And the concept overall of why you fall, forget spiritually, even the common sense is if someone comes and asks you sorry, what we tend to do, we tell, okay, I'll forgive you. Same way, if somebody is going to fall on their feet, what happens is, even if somebody is your enemy, the person will not feel like telling, see, get lost. The person will feel like telling, okay, take care. Right? It's a very natural instinct of human. Anybody who surrenders, you don't feel like yelling at them or you don't feel like cursing them. So that is a very beautiful point. And if you notice, he takes this, not only that, he also takes permission for his fasting. Many times we think it is my decision. I've decided I will do. Nobody should ask. But if you see, in this case also, Parikshit is going to die in 7 days. It is his decision about fasting. It is his decision that he's going to give up his life. And obviously it's God's blessings. But even then, even though he knew it, he took the permission of the sages, right? So that shows the humbleness of the entire team, right? Those days, Raja Rishis were doing everything they always used to take the blessings and the words of not only the Shastra, but also the sadhus. So that's a point we have to see. And Sukadev Goswami, at that time, the hero appears. Always, you have the introduction, even in the movie, you see correctly the hero appears. Like that, Sukha comes at that point in time. So at that point in time, Sukadev Goswami is coming. Now, what is happening is everybody who are chasing him, there are two sets of views. One is he's very handsome, so there are people who are coming. On the other side, he's also very dirty. You barely know when he's another Avaduta. God knows when he is taken bath or if he is taken bath. It's like nice, lovely fire covered by smoke. You can't see the fire, right? So the smoke was visible to common men and the fire was visible for these sages. That was the difference. They were able to see through the smoke, but women and children, they were throwing stones. Can you recall somebody who had a very similar experience? People were thinking he's mad, throwing stones. Anybody? Hare Krishna. Is anybody
Kuchala?
up here in the thing? Some of you all are very... Sorry? Sorry, what is the name?
Kuchala, no?
Kusha, no, but they never, okay, he was very poor. That was nice. Exactly, Kushala, you're talking about. We have the class more interactive. Everybody is so silent. I would talk. Thank you, Mataji, but we all be more if we are all interactive. Otherwise, only Vaibhav is not just to attend class, like watching a TV serial and going. More we interact, more we are doing SEVA, right? So can you hear me? Actually, are you able to hear me? Is there a problem in the...
Your audio is cracking. We're not able to hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, some of names which we know, can anybody guess? Thank you, Lalita Matari. So, can anybody guess what are the names or people who were also insulted? Can you think of Rishabhadev, Jadavarda? Right? So, these were the people who were actually insulted as well. So, now we are going to move into a very important chapter, which is Parikshit receives Sukha Goswami, right? How he receives Sukha and what's going to happen. And we are also going to see from 32 to 40, let's see how much we'll be able to cover. And how Parikshit is feeling very grateful. And then he starts inquiring. So the most important part of this particular session, which we are going to see in the 29th verse, is that Parikshit immediately, as usual, bows down and pays respect not only to the sages but also to Sukadev. Right? As soon as Sukadev comes, and virtually Sukadev is probably the youngest speaker over there at that point in time. So now, he glorifies Sukadev Goswami over there, and we were going to see that from the 33rd verse, and in 34th verse we see an atheist can never remain before God. This is something which is very important. So many of them, and the name of the God and God are different. So many times people will talk about ghost, right? What will happen if there is ghost, or what will happen if there is a flashback? A very common question in the first few verses, or the first few levels, first level, second level of when we are learning. Very clearly, if an atheist, and obviously a ghost which is in the form of an atheist, or an atheist in the form of a ghost or black magic, none of that really works in the presence of Krishna. Not only the form of Krishna, but the name of Krishna, because there is no difference between the both, and also when the devotees are there. So any sins also don't stand. So that is what we are going to see in 34 and 35, 36. We see Krishna's affection for Pandavas and why he took the relationship. I mean, why was he born in the family? What was the thing? And all that we will see. And we'll also see the way in which the perfection one can do. So these are the questions. So he's going to answer coming chapters later as to what is a perfection, what is required for a person. Two questions mainly asked is basically, what is the duty of a person in all circumstances? What is the duty of a dying man? Right? What is important for a person? What is the most important thing for everybody in all circumstances? And the most important duty of a dying man. So all that will be addressed. And obviously, without mercy of Lord, none of that will be possible. And Parikshit acknowledges that. And because somebody like Sukha, who will not even stay beyond 5 minutes, is there, which is what they're going to talk about in verse 39. And finally, 40 is when Sukha speaks. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, we always say prelude, right? Prelude means there is an introduction. Suddenly, if Krishna starts telling, excuse me, you should not consider matra spashta kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukada agama paino anitya stam tatikshashva bharata. You will not understand why Krishna is speaking. That is where he starts speaking virtually in terms of advice. Of course, he scolds. That is even worse. He starts, chastising him. If he starts telling, all abusive words and all that, we will not even understand what happened. So it's important to set the context. So therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, how the context was set, so is here in Bhagavatam. We are coming back to the original story of what happened to Parikshit and what the context is and why Bhagavatam is going to come up. Only then we'll be curious. Right? So this is one thing. And so let's move on to the text. And if you all are more interactive, then I can, at the end, maybe towards the end, we can talk about the important questions. We can talk about, what are the important discussions we had, what could be the topics, which will not only come for us, which will also be covered in the exam. So I need more participation from you all to make it more lively. Otherwise, I will probably be feeling demotivated to take class. And I'll also tell you a very interesting story about the ghost, how ghosts can be away. This was told by Namanishta Prabhu, and I'll share one of my experiences. Please, somebody read the 29th verse. Hare Krishna. Yes, Usha Kaman Mataji. Shloka and translation. Prabhu, can you lower the screen a bit so that she can see the shloka as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Right.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 1.19.29. Savishnu Rato Titaya Agataya.
Savishnu Rator. Hello, everybody, please follow. Hare Krishna. Savishnu Rato Titaya Gataya. Everybody can unmute and speak. Yeah.
Tasmai Saparyam Shirasa Jahara.
Tasmai
Tato Nivritta Hyabhuta Striyorbaka.
Tata Nivitahi
Mahasane Sopavishesha Pujitaha. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Translation, Maharaj Parikshit, who is also known as Vishnu Ratha, one who is always protected by Vishnu, bowed his head to receive the chief guest, Shukadev Goswami. At that time, all the ignorant women and boys ceased following Srila Sukadev. Receiving respect from all, Sukadev Goswami took his exalted seat. Purport: on Sukadev Goswami's arrival at the meeting, everyone except Srila Vyasadeva, Narada, and a few others stood up, and Maharaj Parikshit, who was glad to receive a great devotee of the Lord, bowed down before him with all the limbs of his body. Sukadev Goswami also exchanged the greetings and reception by embrace, shaking of hands, nodding and bowing down, especially before his father and Narad Muni. Thus, he was offered the presidential seat at the meeting. When he was so received by the king and sages, the street boys and less intelligent women who followed him were struck with wonder and fear. So they retired from their frivolous activities, and everything was full of gravity and calm. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful combination, gravity and calm. If you notice, even Krishna, we talk in that fashion, right? When we talk about Krishna's voice, it's very calm and gravity. The combo is very rare. It's not like Krishna tells, bah, bah, bah. It's not like the way we speak, which is very, either very fast, very slow, or very fragile, or very dominating. But Krishna's voice and tone, everything is perfect, right? So that's exactly what they are talking, comparing him here. And as I said, the ladies were following some out of liking, some out of anger. These boys were even throwing stones because he was completely naked. He was wearing nothing. So therefore, obviously they were all very, they were feeling he was like a madman. But when they noticed that so many sages were seeking his blessings, that is when they realized, oh my God, I've done a disaster. So immediately they, out of fear, fly away from there. Now, if you notice, not only others paid their respects by falling down, Sukadev also exchanged the greetings appropriately. He embraced a few, he was shaking hands, he was nodding, and he was also bowing down, especially to his father, who's the father of Sukadev? Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, Vyasa. I asked this question not because you all won't know, it's because to just see if you all are awake. I see so much of silence. Tarini Mataji, please unmute and talk. Manisha Mataji, please talk. I'm just calling out the names of people who are very silent. Rajeshri Mataji, Gita Pradeep Mataji, Mamta Mataji, Hare Krishna, Muko. I think it's a short name. Okay, Mangalam Mataji, Nityani Mataji, please, all of you all. And Prakash Prabhu, please be active, all of you all. Unless, if you all are not active, we are all beginners, right? So we always, because especially for me, Bhakti Vaibhav is I'm a student, I'm trying to do my best to train. So what happens is, we get demotivated. We are not like Sukabama's platform, irrespective of who's listening in the crowd or not, I don't care. If you see Sukadev Goswami, in the entire crowd, he was only seeing Parikshit. Not because he was not interested in anyone, because he knew this session was very important for him. And he had complete eye contact only with Parikshit. He did not worry about others, not because he did not care, but it is because his concept was very much clear. He was very clear that he heard this from Vyasa and heard from one of the senior lectures that Sukha himself was very curious, that he wanted to speak about Krishna. And this was a chance given to Sukha. So therefore, he not only spoke, but he also clarified the questions, and that made him very comfortable. So same way, Krishna's blessing, I'm getting a chance to talk. I will request each one of you all to be more interactive, because that will only motivate me. Very difficult, because I'm not in the platform of Sukha. Even if nobody sees me or hears me, I will talk before the monitor. Is a very difficult proposition for me. So I would request all of you all, please unmute, because I even have a doubt now if you all are even just switching off the laptop and going. I mean, jokes apart. But on a very serious note, you all are very silent. Let's keep it more interactive. Even if you don't know, it's okay. But let's just talk. Not very technical question, but at least connect. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So he was called the Vishnu Ratha, we saw, and that's going to come up in the next verse. So why I'm telling you is, sorry, that's come here, right? So Vishnu Ratha, why was he called? He was already protected by Vishnu. So that is, when was he protected by Vishnu?
In the womb of his mother.
Yes, in the womb of the mother. So Vishnu Ratha, that is why he is called Vishnu Ratha. It's come here in this verse. So he was protected by Vishnu in the womb, and which is why Parikshit, right, name was called. And also one more very beautiful story behind the whole thing is that at that time Krishna was present inside and outside. Many times we will read he was present inside as Antaryami and he was also present outside. We see that in Narsimha Kavasha also, right? And not Narsimha Arti also we say, na? He's inside as well as outside. So both ways he is there. That was very evident and Parikshit has seen it and he wants to see Krishna in that form. So he comes and takes the blessing. And we also see Sukha, who's not bothered about anything. He is also paying respect. It is not that he's just ignored, he's just come, he's not bothered about the crowd, he's sitting and taking class. He's paid. If you see, they are telling how he embraced people, he shook hands. He also fell and took blessing. He probably would have been the youngest in the entire crowd, but teaching all of them. Somebody like Raja Rishis, the Deva Rishis, Deva Rishi like Narada, a lot of kings, a lot of demigods had also come there. So we'll see what's there in store for us next. Hare Krishna. Go ahead. Who would like to read this? Please go ahead. Yes, Gita Mataji, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Samavata tatra mahan mahiyasham
Samvritastatra
Manamahiyasam
Brahmarshi Rajarshi Devarshi Sangaya
Brahmarshi
Vyarochadalam Bhagavan Yatendu
Vyarojatalam
Bhagavan Yatindu
Grahar Kshatharani Kare Paritaha.
Grahar
Kshatarani
Paritaha.
No. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami was then surrendered by saintly sages and demigods, just as the moon is surrendered by stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies. His presence was gorgeous and he was respected by all. Purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the great assembly of saintly personalities, there was Vasudeva, the Brahmarshi, Narada, the Devarshi, Parashurama, the great ruler of the Kshatriya kings, etc. Some of them were powerful incarnations of the Lord. Sukadeva Goswami was not known as Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, or Devarshi, nor was he an incarnation like Narada, Vyasa, or Parashurama, and yet he excelled them in respects paid. This means that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. One should therefore never minimize the importance of devotee like Sukadeva Goswami. Hare
Correct.
Krishna.
This reminds me of Prabhupada's conversation with a neophyte devotee. A devotee came and asked Prabhupada, can I become equal to Lord? Right? If someone, so this is not only the question, but we should also relish the answer given by very senior Vaishnavas. Because first thing we will do is, how can he talk like that? Is he mad? First, imagine our expression, right? Someone comes and tells, I want to become equal to God. We'll tell, mad about this fellow. How can you even think of becoming God? You can't even become God. This will be our reaction, yes or no? Tell me honestly, how do you all feel? You'll feel he's very sacred? Or he's God 2.0? Come on. How will you feel if someone comes and tells, I want to become God or equal to God? What will be your first thing which will come in your head?
Very arrogant person.
Impossible.
Correct. Impossible, yeah. Very arrogant. Right? And whether he's arrogant or not, we'll get irritated. I'm not telling our irritation is wrong. That's totally right. But Prabhupada's answer, can anybody guess what could be Prabhupada's answer?
You will become God in 1 second.
You will become God in 1 second. No, I'm not aware of that answer. Hare Krishna, but very nice try. Anything else? At least you're thinking in Prabhupada's angle. Anybody else? Anybody else? Prabhupada said, why you
You're
want? Yeah,
you're already one.
that was also sweet. No, but Advaitis say that you're already we are God, you are God. Aham Brahmasmi, Namo Narayana. God is inside you. I am also God. Tomorrow you will become God. All that. Prabhupada said, why you want to become God? You become more powerful than God. You can become more. You control the God. You become more powerful than God. And he did not understand how. He looked at Yashoda Mai. You know the Damodar thing where she tied. He had showed that picture. He said, look at her. How she is so powerful. She made the God cry. She made the God listen to her. She tied the God in the stone. Right? So everywhere, so why you want to become God? You become more powerful than God. You can even make God listen to you. So that was a very beautiful conversation and a lovely realization. Somebody like an acharya can even turn. They say you twist the tables, right? Something which is very abominable. That is why you see devotees also, they twist the table. If somebody comes and tells me, I'm going to have fever after 1 week, trust me, I'll feel very upset. Why after 1 week? Can't it be after 1 month? Why now? Because next week, exactly, that was one of my distant relatives' wedding. I planned to go, and first time I thought I will go and do a haircut or do eyebrow. All planned. God, next week I'm going to have a fever. This would have been my thinking. But imagine Parikshit immediately, yes, I will. The point what I'm telling is how they welcome, right? So that speciality, exactly like how we are talking about, like Prabhupada, immediately any question he turned the table. Same way Parikshit, such a situation, you're going to die in 7 days. Trust me, we will all have a heart attack. So we will all have a heart attack in 7 days, but he is very comfortable. He says, even such a uncomfortable situation, he turns it so favorably, telling that maybe this is for showing indifference from my political and social work, which is why Krishna is very clearly telling this is applicable only for us. Technically speaking, Krishna is not having any problem. Krishna is not having any nor against him. But many people, why I'm bringing this topic is I'm sure all of you know, but the first thought, even my mom was telling, look at Parikshit. Even Parikshit got cursed. Why? Because we sometimes read between lines things which are not relevant to the context. And that is why we need an acharya. And that is what we're going to talk in the coming verses. Because why do we need acharya is because we have to understand it in the right perspective. Unlike my mom who came and told, even Parikshit can get cursed. Therefore, is curse more powerful? No. He could have forget about counter cursing. That also he can do because any devotee is so powerful that he need not do mystic yoga to do a curse, but they don't do it. Same way, getting a curse reverse is just nothing. It's like no moment, in a moment they can do. But many times the devotees follow. We also would have noticed Garuda, right? And our famous story, Kalia Natanam. If you see in that particular lake, Kalia was staying there because there is a curse for Garuda, and I'm not getting into the details of the curse, where as per that, Garuda can never come and eat any snake in that particular place, right? In that area of Yamuna. So, you think Garuda will have that kind of a condition? But he never made any efforts to counteract. Because Garuda is also said Vedas come from Garuda as well. Right? Shastras mention that when he flies, it's not like a bird which flies. When he does this, it is Samaveda. Right? So these are mentioned in Puranas. So this is the beauty of Garuda. And such senior exalted people try and fix themselves. They don't fix things around. The way is, this is called turning the tables, perspective, the right perspective. So therefore, look at the situation here, coming back to the main thing, and I've completely digressed. So coming back to the story is, these kind of devotees take even the worst thing as a very favorable thing. And Sukadev Goswami is another classic example of another exalted devotee where he does not carry any names. There is no Brahma Rishi, Raja Rishi, he is not a incarnation of a Lord, but the devotee by themselves are very powerful. I just thought I will share Prabhupada's thought here because this was something which was really very nice. And many times we get very angry, we get very upset, which is fine. But also, can we make such a person who's making a comment be more interested in Krishna? We are getting irritated with them, which is very nice, and we stay away also, which is also right. Because too much if we stay, we will get influenced, which is why we should stay away from materialists. But as we try and go up the ladder, we should also learn to be more patient as to how we can counteract a very negative situation and make it favorable to Krishna. That way it will become favorable to us as well. So let's move on with the next verse. Hare Krishna. Who would like to read the next verse? Hare Krishna. Please keep your hands raised so that, yeah, please go ahead, Ma. You can read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, go ahead.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Prashantamaseenam akuntamedasam. Munim Nripo Bhagavato Abhyupetya.
Muni
Bhagavato Abhyupetya
Pranamya Murdhna Vatiha Vahita Skritanjalir.
Pranamya Kritanjali
Tatva Gira Sunratayan Baprichat.
Ritayan. Tough words.
Is my audio okay?
Your audio is okay. I'm just saying that the words by itself
The
is
words
very
are difficult. Yeah, I could not pronounce correctly. Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sage Sri Shukadeva Goswami sat perfectly pacified, intelligent, and ready to answer any question without hesitation. The great devotee Maharaja Parikshit approached him, offered his respects by bowing before him, and politely inquired with sweet words and folded hands. Shall I continue?
Yes, please go ahead.
Purport. The gesture now adopted by Maharaja Parikshit of questioning a master is quite befitting in terms of scriptural injunctions. The scriptural injunction is that one should humbly approach a spiritual master to understand the transcendental science. Maharaja Parikshit was now prepared for meeting his death, and within the very short time of 7 days, he was to know the process of entering the kingdom of God. In such important cases, one is required to approach a spiritual master. There is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master unless one is in need of solving the problems of life. One who does not know how to put questions before the spiritual master has no business seeing him. And the qualification of the spiritual master is perfectly manifested in the person of Sukadeva Goswami. Both the spiritual master and the disciple, namely Sri Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaja Parikshit, attained perfection through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami learned Srimad Bhagavatam from his father Vyasadeva, but he had no chance to recite it. Before Maharaja Parikshit, he recited Srimad Bhagavatam and answered the questions of Maharaja Parikshit unhesitatingly, and thus both the master and the disciple got salvation. Hare Krishna.
Very beautifully read. So what they are talking about is both of them, as I said, got salvation, and we are going to see all that towards the end. Now, what is going to happen in this case is, if you see, okay, which is the shloka? Do you remember the shloka number, name, chapter, which resembles this particular purport, wherein you have to humbly submit yourself in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita also speaks about how we should surrender to
Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya.
Upadrishyante te jnanam jnanina tattva darshanah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, Tadvidi, so you have to very humbly surrender to the Lord. If you notice, that is what we say, right? What do? We talking everything. Everything is about, because even in our morning prayers, what do we tell? Samsara Dava. What we tell, we should think of the spiritual master as God, but he will think himself as a servant. That is different, right? Even if you take Balaram also is called Sarvetar Godhead. He also wanted to serve Krishna, though he's the first expansion of Krishna. Because even the Vishnu Tattvas, even Lord Vishnu wants to serve Krishna. That is the mood with which they are there. But if you take us, what is the difference is because we always want, like somebody who asked, we are also indirectly like that. How can I become equal to God? Not over there with God, but we will compete constantly telling that this is me. It is. There's a very beautiful story which I was listening to one of the lectures where it was mentioned this morning that this guy is a fairly rich guy, very well educated and all, and he goes to Vrindavan. Okay, somewhere he's come to know this Tadvidi Pranipratena Prashnena Sevaya Upadrishyante te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanaha, and he goes for finding a spiritual master. He's very intelligent, right? So as I said, so he was very intelligent to understand. So he goes there and he says, I'm blah, 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 my qualification. I would like initiation. Like how we tell, na? I have 99.9%, give me seat here in the college. I will not beg. I want it. That's how we ask, right? When we have a good score in our side, we don't care. we know for sure I will get college today. The score, good score, we don't know the number. But then if we are confident of that good score, we don't go and beg. Our understanding is begging is only for people who don't deserve something. Our understanding is perfect. Begging is only for people who don't deserve something. But the point where we miss is we don't deserve Krishna, which is why we have to beg spiritual master. We don't even deserve spiritual master. The gap is not in our understanding of why we should beg, but the gap is about understanding our sthana, our position. So there, what happens is this fellow goes to, why am I giving that is we're all going along with him. So let's all sit in Vrindavan. So what is happening in Vrindavan is this fellow goes and to the spiritual master and he says, I want to become your subordinate, whatever, your Sishya. He says, get out. He locks. He doesn't give up. Very nice, right? Very determined. He goes, knocks, goes on. And that time spiritual master comes. He says, I'll give you 1 week time. But you have to get somebody who is lower than you. Any one thing lower than you, please bring it up and come and I will take it. So he's very thinking, for this, why I need 1 week? 1 second I will do, because he knows very well, he is very well educated, he is a Vaishya and therefore not even a Vaishnava, Vaishya. So, what is the big deal? All the Sudras are below me. Let me just pull one, whatever, a sewage cleaner or a street cleaner, and I will bring him tomorrow. And he goes and he wants to just grab this guy. He thinks that, okay, he will bribe him with a nice plate of food and he can snatch his time for 2 hours. And he goes close to talking to him, negotiating this. And he thinks, okay, I like how we tell, I've secured a seat in this college like that. He says, oh, I have secured. And he goes near him to call. For a moment, he thinks, I am doing nothing now. This fellow is sweeping and cleaning toilets and streets of Vrindavan. He's doing to where? Especially Govardhan Mala. Govardhan is Krishna himself, which means he's directly doing almost like deity worship. Right? There's no difference between Govardhan and Lord. And he is doing service. Oh my God, this guy is like really good. Right? So, 1 second. Hare Krishna. Easy tries. So first, as he goes to Vrindavan, first step of meeting the spiritual master, first tick he got, because he met the spiritual master. He's understood he has to get into this training course, get himself enrolled. And the spiritual master, after saying, no, he is very determined. So I'm giving you the background to it again, because after so much of determination, what happens? Spiritual master gives 1 week to pick up somebody lower than him. Now he goes and tells, okay, being a Vaishya, picking a swager, street cleaner is good. But when he wants to pick up that guy, he notices that he is cleaning the streets of Vrindavan. Therefore, he cannot pick him because he's got direct Krishna Seva. I cannot proceed this further, and he drops the idea. Then he thinks, okay, forget this. Let me go and find somebody else. It's not a big deal. So like that, he will go from one person to another person, one person to a lower person according to him. And then he has a sudden angle, thinking out of the box, like us. He thinks out of the box. And he comes to another conclusion. The conclusion is, why should I worry about a person? Because he said, anything you bring. So it need not be a person. So let me go and bring somebody who is lower in the animal species. So he thinks monkey is the best. Before he goes to monkey, he thinks of cow, because he wants, he's his standard. He goes near the cow and he thinks, okay, I'll drag the cow and go because it's softer animal. And then he thinks, oh my God, it's a cow is, I told, right, what is the ABC? Now coming back to that answer, cow gives milk. Milk purifies the mind. By purifying the mind, what happens? You get Brahminical culture. By getting Brahminical culture, what happens? You become closer to Krishna, which is the absolute truth, which is the ABC of our spirituality world. So he understands one thing for sure. Cow protection, forget. But at least what he remembers is cow is definitely serving Lord in many ways by giving milk and all. And all the demigods are taking shelter of the cow. I will not go and touch the cow. I will go to another animal. He goes to a monkey. Now he realizes, oh my God, this monkey is another monkey only. Na? Monkey will be monkey. Ignorance, mode of ignorance. I will catch hold of monkey. Then he thinks, oh, monkey has 2 stories. During Lord Ram's time, Rama time, correctly, monkey is also coming. Entire monkey group only saved. So they have done some service. And now, in order to repay Ram's life story, I mean, whatever the monkeys had done, Krishna is taking them along and playing along with them. So monkey is still good. So he drops. He thinks, okay, now animal kingdom is gone. Human kingdom gone. Animal kingdom gone. What next? He thinks, okay, I will go to lower strata of animals. He goes and he decides, okay, I will go to pig because we don't like pig. So he's once going in his morning, when he's doing his morning chores, right? And when he's gone on a nature's call, he sees a pig and he says, oh, pig is very dirty. And then he realized pig is also not dirty. Though it is dirty, it is clearing the stool. So he goes down thinking that, okay, then the pig stool is dirty. So let me just take some stool. And that time he sees a worm. He thinks nothing can be abominable than the worm. Let me try and work around this worm. And then he realizes this worm is also cleaning all this by keeping, and indirectly it is cleaning Vrindavan. Dham, so too good. And he goes and says, I don't think anything or anyone is more humbler than me. And that moment, the spiritual master says, like immediately say, welcome the person. So immediately the spiritual master says, welcome him. Keep the Agni Hotra ceremony. Let's lighten the, Yagna Kupit, and let's go ahead with the ceremony. So that's it. He gets initiated. So that is the story. Story does not continue. We'll come back to the topic. Hare Krishna. So, point, what he is trying to tell is, with that moment, this Agni Kund gets on from our mind also. So humble. So what are we actually bringing? When we start thinking is nothing above us, then you start feeling humbler. If you feel we are the top, we are at the, we are great, then you don't get that simplicity and humbleness. So if you are not humble, it is very difficult to go submissively approach anybody. So that is the point we wanted to tell. And many times we feel when we are initiated, we are very humble. No. Initiation also, sometimes when we look, you will tell, oh, I'm initiated. Sometimes I've realized myself also, in my case. Before initiation, I used to think whether we are initiated or they are initiated. Before we are initiated or not, doesn't matter, all that. Once initiated, then initially sometimes you feel, I'm initiated. Something like you're like an award holder or a PhD holder. If you don't feel like that, I'm happy. But there are occasions on a very thin line that you feel, oh, you're initiated. Somewhere a thin line will come and hit us. And that is what differentiates us from these great people. Because if you want to get closer to Krishna, that thin line of false ego, we should just junk and throw it. Because this is a question which is very, very important. And I've been asking this question to many of them, which I'll bring it up after some time once the class becomes more active. If I remember, and if you all are active, we will take up that question. But coming back to this, approaching the spiritual master, the purpose is very clear. Because he is the one who is going to connect us. Krishna is ready to come in Garuda and lift our hand. We are stretching the hand, but that little gap, to hold two hands and bring them together is a spiritual master. So that is very important, and that is what we see. So he completely surrenders himself to the spiritual master, and it's like a dual situation. Balaram is the spiritual master. Krishna is the Chaitya Guru. Balaram is the Adi Guru, and he is the form of spiritual master. He comes. Why? Because any teacher also turns out not as a spiritual master, but as a trainer. Why does he come? The idea for him to come is just not for anything good or bad, but to actually give a very nice understanding, to give a concept of explaining the whole thing to us. Why? Not only for the student, it's of benefit, but for the teacher also it's of benefit, because only then the teacher will be able to have a chance to talk about Krishna Katha. We will not have the chance of talking about Krishna to others. So Balaram not only sends the students for us, but also for the teacher themselves. They feel that only then Krishna Katha will be heard, right? Only then this person will speak Krishna Katha. So it's a 2-in-1. So many times we get excited, right? Oh, I am there, students have come. Students are not your own earnings. Students are the blessings of the Lord, where the Krishna or Balaram feels, let me send a few students, only then this person will listen. So that is what, besides your listening, I think my cat is also very curious. He's coming, jumping and trying to observe what is there on the screen. So thank you so much, and sorry about that. Let's move on to the next verse. Hare Krishna. Yeah, who next? Come on, keep your hands raised. It's not a physical hand, so I'm sure your hands are not going to hurt. Unlike when I was small, I used to tell some story, and I used to have a doubt if my mom dozed off. So I used to tell my mom, please have your hand raised, mama. Because then if my mom's hand goes down, I will know, oh, she dozed off. Such a cruel daughter I was. Now I can think. And same way, I'm not doing it now. I just want your digital hand raised. Thank you, Usha Mataji. Go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji. Verse 32. Parikshit Uvacha
Vacha.
अहो अध्यावयं ब्रह्मन्
Ado Adya
Yam Brahman
तत्सेव्याः क्षत्रबन्धवः
Tasya Bandhavaha
कृपयातिथिरूपेण
Rupena
भवद्भिस्तीर्थकाः कृताः.
Bhavandi Tirthaka Krutaha.
Yeah. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The fortunate King Parikshit said, O Brahmana, by your mercy only you have sanctified us, making us like unto places of pilgrimage, all by your presence here as my guest. By your mercy we, who are but unworthy royalty, become eligible to serve the devotee. Purport. Saintly devotees like Shukadev Goswami generally do not approach worldly enjoyers, especially those in royal orders. Maharaj Pratap Rudra was a follower of Lord Chaitanya, but when he wanted to see the Lord refused to see him because he was a king. For a devotee who desires to go back to Godhead, two things are strictly prohibited: worldly enjoyers and women. Therefore, devotees of the standard of Sukadev Goswami are never interested in seeing kings. Maharaj Parikshit was, of course, a different case. He was a great devotee, although a king, and therefore Sukadev Goswami came to see him in his last stage of life. Maharaj Parikshit, out of his devotional humility, felt himself an unworthy descendant of his great Kshatriya forefathers, although he was as great as his predecessors. The unworthy sons of the royal orders are called Kshatra Bandhavas, as the unworthy sons of the Brahmanas are called Dvija Bandhus or Brahma Bandhus. Maharaj Parikshit was greatly encouraged by the presence of Shukadev Goswami. He felt himself sanctified by the presence of the great saint, whose presence turns any place into a place of pilgrimage. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Anybody rings a bell about the shloka which is pending? I'm not going to take shloka class, but anybody remembers what this is? When saintly people visit, even holy places become a place of, it's basically to undo the sins, right? So wherever they are, that becomes a place of pilgrimage.
The verse where Yudhishthira Maharaj glorifies Vidurji.
Do you remember the verse?
Tirtha Kurvanti, something like that.
Tirthani Santastena Gathabhrita. Anyway, we have to by heart that verse. It's a compulsory verse for memorizing. But thank you so much for bringing up. Very nice. So basically, that is what it is. And here, if you see, he is a Vishnu Rata. So obviously, Krishna had protected. He was a devotee and he was born in the devotee family. He was also born in the family of Krishna himself. So with so much of qualification, Sukadev is feeling so blessed to come and take special tuition for Parikshit. If you see, it's like a special tutorial, right? So many people are there, but it's a one-on-one. He's like literally having an eye contact with our Parikshit Maharaj, and he's giving a 1 week, 24/7 non-stop session. Why? Because he knows that Parikshit is somebody who is extremely glorified. Also because of the fact that Parikshit is a very sincere devotee, but that is not the feeling Parikshit has. He doesn't feel all this. I am great, I am great. No, he only feels he is a very humble person and he is not even fit to be a Kshatriya, right? Like how he said Kula Graha, he's not even worth, he made a mistake like that. He himself feels he made a mistake. He's a Kshatra Bandhu. Like how he say Bandhu, because he had done a uncivilized work which cannot be forgiven. So this is his mood, and this is why I told the story. Even though Parikshit is great, and that is why Sukha came, all of them came, but most of the time our feeling is very different. Our feeling is, oh, I am special. We will always, if anything special happens to us, always we have that feeling. We are never down to earth or humble. We will always have this feeling, oh, I am great. You know, that we should start thinking. Consciously, but not to bring that up. Sometimes subconsciously, as I said, immediately, sometimes we get these thoughts, but there are things which will take a U-turn. Now we can go to the next verse, and before we go to the next verse, I want to ask you one question. This room, right? How many of you all want to go to Vaikunta? Vaikunta, Goloka, whatever you call it. And it's a question I've been asking for the past 3 days to everybody. In all the classes, not everybody. So how many of you all would like to go to Vaikunta or Goloka Vrindavan in this class? Nobody. Is my question clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, you're very clear, Mataji.
How many in this? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
How many of you all in this class wants to go to Vaikunta? This is a very different answer. This is one answer where I'm not getting a reply. But every class I had a reply which was very different from one another. All of you are raising the hand. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I thought you all are going to open your mouth and tell. Okay. So only Gita Mataji wants. One more want. Who else? Anybody? Only two of them. Oh, no. Okay. Only Usha Mataji and Gita Mataji. Only two of us need Mataji. Then I'll tell you the secret later. Anyway, balance 18 are not keen. So why?
We are already in the Vaikunta only. Wherever we are, it is the Vaikunta for us. Because
Should we waste the class time? We'll go ahead with the next verse. Hare Krishna. Acha, very nice. Lalita Mataji is talking on behalf of everyone. Okay, in that case, how many of us want to go to Vaikunta right now? That Vimana, Vaikunta Vimana is waiting right now next to us. How many of us are willing to jump in? Hare, complete silence. Okay, Usha Mataji, very nice. Gita Mataji, ready to jump in. Only. So how many of you all are ready to jump in? Okay, two. So I will take two are ready to jump in. So the reason why I ask you this question is many times we have a feeling, and this when I say we, I'm including me as well. When I asked the question to everybody, just like how there was silence in this class, I was the one who asked. There was one person in my morning session when we read Bhagavatam, she raised her hand. The other two said, one girl was even more, one lady was even more stunning. That Mataji told me, I don't mind. And that sort of kept us in a fix. How could you give a reply telling, I don't mind? I don't mind is something which I would like not accept that as great, but I don't mind taking it. Like when my mom asks, in South, we make dosa, idli and all. And pongal, we do not like upama. Khichdi, we don't like. So when my mom asks, and if I'm hungry and if I'm desperate, I'll tell I don't mind. It means that I'm not for it, but I don't mind adjusting. This is how we perceive this, I don't mind. So we sort of held her and cornered her. How can you do this and all that? Then she said, no. What I meant is I still have my duties to do. I've just retired from my job, but still I have to get one of my son married. And there was another Mataji who had 2 children and all that. After that, I kept quiet. And then I asked in my Tamil session. And there they were telling, yes, Mataji. And they gave me a different reply. Few of them who were very elderly, they said, we are willing to go. But they said, Mataji, you don't come now. You finish all your duties and then you come. Now it's too early for you. Second reply. And third reply, right, sort of stunned me. When I was speaking to one of my friends with whom we've recently started reading, after I fell sick, all these people started helping me by reading. So she started, she's got a lot of experience in, about this. The point she used to tell is, I've always heard stories of many friends who run out of the house to get married and all that. I loved her story because she ran off of her house to go for Krishna. She fought with her parents because initially they agreed, but later as she got into a depth. And I would like to share this experience because most of us will see small challenges and we feel, oh my God, I'm having a big challenge of something which I'm doing, which is nice. This girl had a very tiny challenge initially, but later it grew so big, which already was foretold by her guru, the Guru Maharaj. Not our Guru Maharaj, her Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada's disciple only. And what did he tell is, he told very clearly one thing. He told that you will start facing many challenges. Exactly, soon she started facing many challenges. So much that the father told that I will not keep you in the house, either get out, right, telling that property belongs to me, just get out of the house. So she also agreed, walked out of the house. Okay. And no friends could keep her occupied because the father used to come and threaten the friends. And those days were more difficult. So what is happening is, this was the situation. And later she also got married to a devotee. And unfortunately, in her life, many things went bad. But she used to read. She's a staunch reader, right? 3 hours she'll read, 4 hours she'll read, and she was very happy. There was one incident which very recently, she was telling that I really enjoy reading with you because whatever questions I have, you have answers. Okay. Now imagine somewhere, that little bit of that thing, that hidden ego will come. So generally on an outward feeling, when I look at the mirror, I have a feeling very nice. I don't say I'm down to earth, but I would not even agree if someone says I'm egoistic. So when I look at the mirror, I will not say I'm very humble, but I won't say I've got that attitude, at least to me. So I look into the mirror and every day I will tell, okay. But slowly every day when she started appreciating me, she was telling that, oh, with 2 decades and 2.5 decades, you are able to get questions solved, you're answering mine. I started feeling, wow, okay. Then I got into a different feeling. I thought it doesn't matter whether it's 20 year or 30 year or 40 year. When we are involved in something too much, then automatically we will get credit, which is true. But what is not true is that whatever I felt applies, but does not apply to me. That is one small gap which I missed. Then when the same question I asked her. I asked her if who wants to go to Vaikuntha. She immediately said, obviously, yaar, I've been longing for that. I said, if Vaikunt Viman comes now, what would you do? She has a small child. She's got 2 children, one teenager and just 1 second. My charge plug. Yeah. One teenager and a small young boy. The answer she gave was very different. And why I'm sharing it, it seemed very different for me. She immediately said, when Vaikuntha comes, I will get in along with my children, with my mom and you. This was her statement. So forget the part of mother, you, me, children, that part of it. But where I'm seeing is she was ready to enter and she was also thinking that she will take everybody around, whomever she wanted. And most of them who gave a reason as to why they can't go to Vaikuntha, the first thing they used to tell is, I still have unfinished work. I have my children to take care, at least children. If not spouse, then first thing which will come. Some of them also tell, my spouse will not, the next moment he'll commit suicide or she'll commit suicide. This kind of stories also come up. But mostly it's around children because they're very dependent. Karmanevadhigaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma palaheturbod ma te karmi swakhandani. Krishna's story only remembers. That is the 2nd chapter. You have to do your duty. Everybody quotes this to me. But nobody has quoted the 18th chapter, our 66th verse. Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja ham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ikshami masucha. Krishna tells, we are still in LKG 2 plus 2. We are not heading ourselves to 2 into 2 equal to 4 and 2 squared equal to 4. We are stuck there. So all this theory class I've also taken and all sessions I also take. And after this, there was a very strong realization. And I'm like sharing this realization because many times we think, right? And then I realized whatever she has earned over a period of reading, connecting to the people is not what we can see. Of course, she's very knowledgeable and all that. But the fact what I noticed is, look at her reply. That is coming from the heart. And look at my reply. You know what was my reply? No reply. Any question, I will jump. Not here. Anywhere I will jump. Right or wrong, I will tell you. And in my house also, they'll tell you, you're not worried to face crowd because you don't have a problem in telling you don't know. True. But here, I never said I don't know. I never said I will jump into the Vimana. Nor did I give an answer because I was worse. Like I was indecisive. I did not know. I was confused. Because if I did not give an answer, it means I am confused. It also means, but my Bhakti is very, very low. Because yes or a no is still clarity of thought. When you don't give an answer, you just don't know. And when you don't know, indecisiveness is more risky than not telling a no. And why I'm sharing all this is because how many ever years you talk or speak or how less you do is not the point, as I said. But the fact is, many times we really do not understand. We just get carried away at a subtle level, which means at a gross level, we are stationed. At gross level, we are following the regulatory principles, not just 4, but even 64. But at a subtle level, there are things which eat us. At a gross level, we will still respect people. We will genuinely feel from our heart we are doing. But at a subtle level, we will be shaking. The story, what I was talking about in the friend circle, this only woke. I won't say I'm practically there. Gave me a feeling, oh, now whatever she read all these years gave her maturity of thinking and giving her that answer. And I am very grateful to many of you all who said I'm willing to go to Vaikund now, which is definitely taking you in a very elevated plan. But all I'm telling for all of us and rest of us, always being down to earth is easy to say, but practically being there is very difficult. And Sukadev Goswami is an example. After learning so much, he still wants to talk. He still doesn't want to talk anything to anyone, but wants to talk Krishna Katha. That's why we see in Bhagavatam, we are seeing this text. Atmaramasta murtayo nirgrante api urukrume purvantahe tu kim bhaktim itam bhuto guno hari. Itam bhuto guno hari. This is not one time repeating. Entire teachings of Lord Chaitanya book will have only this verse, and it will go on and on. So many meanings of this verse, 64 meanings of this verse, 91, 64 multiple meanings of this verse. I can't even remember the exact count of numbers. Coming back to it, genuinely here Parikshit is very, very humble. He sees Sukha and does not feel, oh, I am special. He sees sages, he says, God is so merciful upon me. He is born in Krishna's, he is basically none other than Krishna's great grandson, if you actually realize, but still he doesn't boss off. He is just very well grounded. And that is something which we should remember, irrespective of a king or irrespective of a maid. All of us love Parikshit, all of us love Amrish Maharaj, but are we living up to their standard? Is something which if we ask ourselves, I don't know what mark we will give. I though decided I can't even cross a single digit. Not out of my humble, I'm not talking this because I'm humble. I'm talking this because I've realized, like your scorecard. Paper may I studied well. What is the mark? I got 5 marks. Out of what? Out of 100. That became my situation in reality. Why I'm saying is many of us will not have this chance of seeing reality, and we will sit over there, just like me sitting over there. Here, these are examples to understand us, boss. These are live people who've lived, and these are things where we should stay. Now we'll move to the next verse, which talks about how these people sanctify us. Yeah, go ahead. Hare Krishna. Who next? I hope you all have not fallen asleep. With my voice, though, you can't fall asleep. That apart. Unless you have a sound closure in your room. Yes, go ahead. Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhu, for sharing. Sorry, I forgot to thank you for that. Yes. Anybody who wants to read, please go ahead. Come on. Today is Ramanavami. Yes, Lalita Majaji, go ahead. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'll just try. I don't know much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sanidhyate Mahayogin.
Sanidhyate Mahayogin.
Patakani Mahanti api.
Patakani Mahanti api.
Thank you. I wanted Sanskrit. Sadhyo Nashyanti Vaipumsam.
Sadhyo Nashyanti Vaipumsam.
Vishnoriva Suretaraha.
Vishnoriva Suretaraha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic. Purport: there are two classes of human beings, namely the atheist and the devotee of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord, because of manifesting godly qualities, is called a demigod, whereas the atheist is called a demon. A demon cannot stand the presence of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. The demons are always busy in trying to vanquish the personality of Godhead, but factually, as soon as the personality of Godhead appears, by either his transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, or variegatedness, the demon is at once vanquished. It is said that a ghost cannot remain as soon as the holy name of the Lord is chanted. The great saints and the devotees of the Lord are in the list of this paraphernalia, and thus as soon as saintly devotee is present, the ghostly sins are at once vanquished. That is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. One is recommended, therefore, to associate only with the saintly devotees so that worldly demons and ghosts cannot exert their sinister influence. Hare Krishna.
Very, very important. And these are the initial classes. Every time Prabhu talks about ghost, Namanishra Prabhu will always bring up this topic, telling that ghost will not come to us. Black magic will not have an impact on us. Because what is happening is, all of them have an impact only when they can see, when Krishna is here and we are here, and when we are looking at each other, right? Currently, Krishna as a soul inside us, we are not turning towards him, we are turning away from him. So anybody can come before us because there's nobody to protect us. But when we are looking at Krishna, irrespective of devotion, it can be so far. Where is my hand? Yeah, it can be so far, or it can be here this much or this much. It doesn't matter. But there is direct face-to-face thing. Distance does not matter. In such a case, Krishna is directly going to be the representative. Krishna is going to protect us. So Namnishta Prabhu, time in, time out, he will tell, never worry about this. And most of the places where ghosts and all of them are places where there is no spirituality, where there's dirt, where there's contamination, which is why we tell keep the workplace clean. It is not only hygiene, it is a part of moral science. There used to be some subject called moral science long, long ago, lost in the crowd, right? That subject teaches all this. And spirituality is also exactly that. It's all aligned together. Very, and this one, I have personally experienced, and there's there was a story behind this also, which I have personally counteracted with Namnishta Prabhu, which I will tell you in some time. But continuously, I'm only telling stories. So let me try and see if we cover, and then if we still have time, I'll go ahead with the story. Yeah, go ahead. Hare Krishna. So the name of the Lord is so powerful, and name of the Lord only protects. And we saw Chaitanya Prabhu giving examples of. Can anyone recall what example he gave in the previous when name protected somebody? Name of the Lord protected the person, even though virtually, physically, the Lord may not be present at that point in time. I'm scared to ask questions. Usually, I'm very scared. I'm never scared to ask questions to my teacher also. Now I'm getting very scared to ask you all questions. There's too much of silence. Either you all feel that Radhika useless, she will come brag for 2 hours and just get lost. Let Pran Chaitanya Prabhu come, let him summarize, let me hear. Or you feel it is too boring and you all have slept off. Or the mic is on and you all are very busy. I don't know which one is the answer, but all the answers scare me. So can anyone tell me in whose case the name saved the person? Is my question? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we could hear you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you lost. Okay.
Quiet because I don't know the answer.
Oh, achha. I love thing. Okay, so I'll give you the answer. You know this Draupadi. If you see, Krishna was not present in the Sabha, but the name Krishna actually gave sari. In fact, the sari itself is Krishna, because she keeps telling only Krishna's name. Same way Ajamila, right? Narayana, the name of the Lord actually sanctified. Lord was not physically present actually there. So it is a name of the Lord which actually saved him, saved Draupadi, and there are more examples. If you get it to it, you all can tell me. But as of now, let's move on to the next verse. Hare Krishna. Anybody please come on, go ahead and read. Even people, if you all have read, it's okay. I'm totally happy.
Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'll start Mataji.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Api me Bhagavan Pritah.
Api me Bhagavan Pritah.
Krishna Pandu Suta Priyah.
Krishna Pandu Suta Priyah.
Paitrusho Seya Prityartham.
Swasyeya Priti Artham.
Tadgotra Satyo Bandhavah.
Gotrasyata Bandhavah.
Mataji, little up.
Sure. Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna, the personalities of Godhead, who is very dear to sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A pure and exclusive devotee of the Lord serves his family interest more dexterously than others who are attached to illusionary family affairs. Generally, people are attached to family matters, and the whole economic imputes of human society is moving under the influence of family affection. Such dedual persons have no information that one can render better service to the family by becoming a devotee of the Lord. The Lord gives special protections to the family members and descendants of a devotee, even though such members are themselves even though such members are themselves non-devotees. Maharaja Prahlad was a great devotee of Lord, but his father Hiranyakashipu was a great atheistic and declared enemy of the Lord. But despite all this, Hiranyakashipu was awarded salvations due to his being the father of the Maharaj Prahlad. The Lord is so kind that he gives all protections to family members of his devotee, and thus the devotee has no need to bother about the family members. Even if one leaves such family members aside to discharge devotional service, Maharaja Yudhishthir and his brothers were the sons of Kunti, the paternal auntie of the Lord Krishna. The Maharaja Parichit admits patronage of Lord Krishna because of his being the only grandson of the great Pandavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, not great grandson. Yeah, so basically, what he is talking about is very clearly for Krishna, he's not great grandson. Sorry, it's a grandson. I just slipped in the previous verse. So, coming back to the main story, what we are talking about is we know very clearly the family affairs, right? All of us get involved. So, they always say from an outside point of view, the devotee and the materialist look same. Why? Because the devotee is also taking care of the family. It's not that he's boycott. The first reaction, as I said, from any materialist is it important? This is the first thing will come. I'll tell you a classic example. Generally, it happens. Of course, my mom is also a devotee, but the first thing, the tendency is they think alike in a different fashion. For example, we were in the morning, I had my Bhagavatam reading, and after that, I had session, right, in Tamil, right? We were doing Chaitanya Charitamrita. For a change, on account of Rama and Rama's day, instead of reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, I took a session on Maya, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita's a story which came in the Kurma Avatar, which talks about the Maya Sita. Okay, when we were talking about all that, after the session got over, around that time is when Pran Chaitanya Prabhu had told me that if I could, take class, but I could not take his call because I was in class. And after that, when I called, he had requested me if I could take the session, and I most gladly agreed. And I then realized for a moment when I just stepped out, then that my mom, I told that I will take her to a temple not too far. So I took her to the temple, and there was Rama Sita marriage which was happening. So the point which I was about to tell my mom is that was scheduled at 10:30 to 11:30. I was a bit tempted though. But since I have to take class, I can't take class from the temple. It'll be very noisy. So I was about to tell my mom that, Ma, I have class. I won't be able to stay up to 10:30. When I was about 10:30, 11, whatever. So then I also wanted to go and check the timing in case it is a little bit after that, then I can go back. Or if it is much earlier, if it's like 9:30, I thought I will message y'all and tell y'all I will come half an hour late. So with all this, and I also had a backup plan. Okay, I will call Lalita Mataji. I will tell her to do some help for me. All mastermind when I was working. Then I went and checked the timing. The timing was definitely not matching because by the time I finish, our 12 o'clock, this session will get over. While I was contemplating so much in my mind before the DT, imagine this is Bhakti, something I'm thinking, God is right before the eye, and look what a mathematical calculation is going on. My mom immediately told, oh, now it is not possible. We have to go back home. I was wondering, how did she know? Because I was down on a work, and how did Pran Chaitanya Prabhu not even work? I was out, I thought I'll swim because it has been very long since, so I went to the pool. And I was wondering how mom does not even is not aware. She was not aware because it's pretty far, not far, but it is within the compound, but she can't hear. How did she immediately tell we have to go home? And I was very curious because I was about to give that as an excuse. I'm looking at my mom, and mom said, we have to go. Had your daughter, my daughter is 20 years, so she's 21. She was in Kerala. She's come back. She came back quite some time back. She came back 2 weeks ago. Why I'm saying is she could manage independently. We've already made food. Anyway, it's not that they will get up and eat food immediately. All they will need is a cup of milk, which was already kept ready in the glass with the cup. So all they need to do is take that and do. She is having a sleepover with her friends. So the girls are also here. So I told my mom she's not alone. No problem. She said, no, we have to go back. she's there. If she gets up, so she's not a 2-year child. Like Krishna, as soon as he got up, he started crying. She's a girl, and obviously sooner or later she will be on her own. Though even I still feel her as a child, and I feel that responsibility. But I'm just giving an example. The thought flow was also calculating multiple things. Safe side, milk was already kept, cornflakes is there, something can be managed. And always these children, it's not that today is the only day, weekly 3-4 days, bread is also there, all that is working on. And my mom thought, we have to go back. Come. And I told him, relax, he's not a small child. No, come, we'll go later. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because externally, there is no much of a difference. Like everybody comes, same milk is kept and all that. But the thought flow of anybody in the material world, and I'm not telling people in the material world, materialist means somebody who does not think of Krishna at all. They also think of Krishna, but for them, Krishna is more like an order supplier. For them, the mind is stuck so much that it revolves around their work, which is far away from Krishna. Whereas for a spiritually advanced person, even small level, I'm telling you, not talking about very, very advanced, the thought is more around Krishna. So reason I'm telling you is externally a pure devotee and a non-devotee or a materialist will be appearing as if they are working. They will be taking, but everything for them is dovetail with Krishna. Right? So that is a point which we have to do, because that thought flow of everything taken care, because the first thing they will tell is, who will take care? Automatically Krishna will take care. And we have enough stories. Brigari is a classic example where Krishna took care of the family. Narada told you, don't worry, everything will be arranged for you. For everybody. Draupadi depended on her solid 5 excellent husbands, but Krishna was the one who saved. Right? Uttara was smart. She straight away came for whom? She straight away came for, very smartly. She was very sweet of her. She directly came to Krishna, even though her Yudhishthira as a king was there, Arjuna was here. Directly she went to Krishna, and neither the Pandavas said, hey, I am a macho man family, why are you going? No. So this is the feeling and thought flow which is different and differentiates us from the pure devotee, because externally either we will think, I don't have to do work, forget it, the way I was thinking, or externally, like my mom, forget everything, let's go and do work. Neither of that they do. They have a very beautiful balance. They focus on the family also. They are still settled. Their focus is absolutely clear. They look like a materialist, but they always work around it. So that is the kind of a feeling they have, right? And we have seen nobody can be, according to us, worse than Hiranyakashipu. If Hiranyakashipu can be liberated with Prahlad, with any of the seva. So my only request is, if anybody feels that, I have to give time to family, or I will not be able to give time to family, and therefore I will not do this work spiritually, remember one thing, whatever spiritually you're doing is not for you, it's for the entire family. This is a thought which you all have, which is why you all are here on a Sunday from 10 to 12. But in the beginning, when you all are teachers or when you come across people, this thought will come. And this is a beautiful para which explains that to all. Let's go to the next para. Hare Krishna. Next verse. Who's going to read? Come on. 36. We just have 5 more verses. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyatha te vyaktagatat
Anyatha te vyaktagato
darshanam na katham naram
darshanam na katham nanam
nitaram vriyamananam
nitaram vriyamanam
samsidyasya vaniyasha. Translation. Otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here, though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death? Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami was certainly inspired by Lord Krishna to appear voluntarily before Maharaja Parikshit, the great devotee of the Lord, just to give him the techniques of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the nucleus of the devotional service of the Lord by the mercy of the spiritual master and the personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is the manifested representative of the Lord to help one achieve ultimate success. One who is not authorized by the Lord cannot become a spiritual master. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is an authorized spiritual master, and thus he was inspired by the Lord to appear before Maharaja Parikshit and instruct him in the techniques of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the ultimate success of going back to Godhead if he is favored by the Lord sending his true representative. As soon as a true representative of the Lord is met by a devotee of the Lord, the devotee is assured a guarantee for going back to Godhead just after leaving the present body. This, however, depends on the sincerity of the devotee himself. The Lord is seated in the heart of all living beings, and thus he knows very well the movements of all individual persons. As soon as the Lord finds that particular soul is very eager to go back to Godhead, the Lord at once sends his bona fide representative. The sincere devotee is thus assured by the Lord of going back to Godhead. The conclusion is that to get the assistance and help of a bona fide spiritual master means to receive the direct help of the Lord himself. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, spiritual master. Now there is this, I don't know in English, but it's a Tamil proverb, right? We do not know whether the egg came out of the hen or the hen came out of the egg. So it's a very confused question, which came originally. So like that, if we start digging whether spiritual master comes from the Lord or the spiritual masters, that is the Lord's mercy, we got a spiritual master, or the spiritual master's compassion, we got the Lord's love or devotion. It's a circle. It will go on. So you will not be able to track which came first. But the bottom line is very clear. Both of them coexist. Without Lord Krishna's mercy, we will not get a spiritual master. Without spiritual masters' compassion and mercy, we will not get devotional service to the Lord. Which is why we will notice very clearly, even though Maya Danva, Arjuna refused. He said, I don't need seva. Arjuna's, that is building the palace, right? So that work was given to him by Krishna directly because he wanted to connect the dots and give him service to connect again with the set of devotee. If you see many other cases, we will always see that Lord sends exactly same time. We have no WhatsApp, right? No pager, no group messaging, no loudspeaker, no telegram, no Facebook, nothing. But communication has been so perfect, right? Exactly Dhruva, as per Bhagavatam, according to Bhagavatam, in what happens, Sukadev Goswami tells what in Bhagavatam, Dhruva correctly, Narada comes. Perfect. Who is Sukadev Goswami's grandfather? Who's Sukadev Goswami's grandfather?
Parasara Muni.
I was waiting that. Parasara Muni, today Sukadev is answering the questions of Parikshit, and that is what is Srimad Bhagavatam. Parasara Muni was answering the questions of somebody, and that is what? Fill in any one blank. Parashara Muni was also answering the questions, similar to this. Not situation. He was also answering the questions. And that gave rise to one Purana. What Purana? Can anybody tell me? I'll give you one more clue. He was preaching, and very elderly man, 80-year man. And the 80-year man is called Maitreya Muni. So Parashara Muni was probably young then, 20 or so, was preaching Maitreya Muni. In the sense, Maitreya Muni was asking questions and he was answering, and that is called Vishnu Puran. So as per Vishnu Puran, Dhruva goes out of the kingdom and he meets Sapta Rishis. So let's not get into whether he met Narada or whether he met the Sapta Rishis, right? But what is more important is these elevated people come in time. And they also gave him a lot of idea. They told Chuta, Achyuta, and they gave a meaning. If you tell Achyuta name, Keshava name, right? We are telling that if you see in the morning also. So Achyuta name, Keshava name, each of them tell one name of Krishna. You will find your destination. So bottom line is, all spiritual masters arrive on dot. In Mrihari's case, Valmiki's case, how does the grace of the Lord? And that is exactly what Sukha, coming here, also Parikshit feels. He feels very strongly that Sukadev cannot come at the time because Sukha is a classic example of not staying beyond 5 minutes in a place, even for any important thing, except for milking. I mean, just that 5 minutes, not only him, every house which is going to come, or which would have come, I don't remember when, but then everyone will have at least few cows in the house, and each cow will give some milk, and that milk is will be given to the sages, and a sage can survive on that milk. And the purpose for them to go there is just to preach spirituality to the householders. And householders should make use of the spirituality. Otherwise, that is what we say, right? Talking very high about sage, making them, offering them a seat, touching them and washing their foot. These 4 things can also purify them. And if somebody is ignored all this, it is a biggest aparadha. And how do they get that vimochan from that aparadha? Is by fasting for 1 day. So these are the things which are taught for us, which is there in this chapter only. Exact verse I don't remember. So coming back to it, this entire concept of what Parikshit did is he recognizes that that Sukha had come there by the mercy of the Lord, because they are non-different from each other. So that is what is there. And this is a very important verse, because this gives an assurance that we will go back to Godhead. Technically both went, but this gives that assurance. Yeah. Let's go to the next sloka. When you're reading, I'm going to post the attendance in one moment. Rohini Mataji, are you here? Hare Krishna. Okay, Rohini Mataji, sorry, she's not there. She's messaged me. I'll post the attendance. Yeah, please go ahead, somebody. Next verse.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. Verse 37. Ataha prichhami samsiddhim.
Ataha prichhami samsiddhim.
Yoginam paramam gurum.
Yoginam paramam gurum.
Purushasyeha yat karyam.
Purushasyeha yat karyam.
Mriyamanasya sarvatha.
Niyamanasya sarvatha.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. Unless one is perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection, there is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not a kind of decoration for a householder. Generally, a fashionable materialist engages a so-called spiritual master without any profit. The pseudo-spiritual master flatters the so-called disciple, and thereby both the master and his ward go to hell without a doubt. Maharaj Parikshit is the right type of disciple because he puts forward questions vital to the interest of all men, particularly for the dying men. The question put forward by Maharaj Parikshit is the basic principle of the complete thesis of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us see how intelligently the great master replies.
Hare Krishna. Very important verse. So our initiation or approaching a spiritual master is not a namesake fashion statement. And approaching a spiritual master means it's not that we are guaranteed Vaikuntha. Yes, our visa flight ticket is guaranteed. Coming and sitting in the flight is our job, right? That is our sadhana. We have to sit in the flight. What is automatically taken for us is our visa is taken by him. Our flight ticket also is booked and he has given us. But if you feel that you can just mentally sit at home, do nothing, and you will come and catch the flight will automatically come to your house, that is like asking too much. There is always a proverb, right? We can take the horse to the pond, but you cannot make the horse drink. So the spiritual master is even making us drink, but that little effort of drinking has to be done by us. Even Nityananda, they say, is very kind. Right? The difference between every thing, right? Today is Rama. So Rama is very, very kind, right? Even an enemy he will accept if he surrenders. And we saw the story of Vibhishan, a classic example. Krishna is someone, if you continue to be an enemy also, I will accept. Right? But you come before me, I will kill you, I will give you, I will award. Example, Shishupal, Kamsa, etc. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he will not take any weapon. He will not expect anything from you, but he will give you love of Godhead. What he has, he gives. And Nityananda Prabhu is even more mercier. He will jump out of, if you look and say, he will jump from your, from the window. He will write the exam for you and he will take you. And today we are blessed with that kind of a benefit. Right, and that we have to make use of. And the reason spiritual master has come to us is because of the mercy of the God. And if we do not acknowledge that, before, they say, make hay when sun shines. Today sun is shining at us, let's make hay and do our sadhana and catch the flight and go to Vaikunt, even if not today, someday. Otherwise, what happens is it is very difficult, because if our endeavors are not there, always there are 5 things in Bhagavad Gita also. Of that, one is an endeavor. Of course, highest is Supreme Lord. But that endeavor is not there, definitely we'll miss the flight. So that is something which we should always remember. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next. So there is this 1,000 names of Vishnu equal to one name of Ram. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranana Tatulyam Rama Nama Varaname Om Nama Rama Varaname Om Namaiti. So why I'm repeating this again is that one time at least we should tell the name, na? Only then it will come. But if you say that I won't even tell, it should come automatically, that's a difficult bargain. Yes, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Is it
Yes,
the correct one?
Yes, yes,
Is
Prabhu.
it correct?
Yeah. Go ahead. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, go ahead.
Atha pruchami samsiddham
Atha Pritchami Samsiddhim
yoginam paramam gurum
Yoginam Paramam
Paramam Guru.
purushyeha yat karyam
Purushasyeha
Yat Karyam
mriyamanasya sarvata.
Priyamanasya
Nisya
Sarvata.
Sarvata.
We just did this, Prabhuji.
Sorry.
We did.
Yeah,
Exactly.
sorry. That's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Yacha chotro vayam ato japyamam
Yak
Yatrotavyam atho japyam.
Japyam
yat kartavyam nubhi prabho
Yat
Yat
Kartavyam
kartavyam nribhi prabhu.
Prabhu.
samartavyam bhajaniyam va
Smartavyam
Kartavyam bhajaniyam va.
bruhi yadva viparyayam.
Bruhi yadva viparyayam.
Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me.
Next one also a small one, Prabhu, you can read. So do's and don't do list he's asking, which will come later. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Nunam bhagavato brahman
Nunam bhagavato brahma.
gruheshu gruham edhinam
Griheshu
Griheshu graham
na lakshate hi stanam api
na
na
lakshyate
lakshate
avasthanam
Api.
godohanam kvachitah.
Godo
Udahanam
dohanam
Kvachita.
kvachita.
O powerful Brahmana, it is said that you hardly stay in house of men long enough to milk a cow. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sages and saints in the older order of life go to houses of householders at the time they milk the cows early in the morning and ask some quantity of milk for subsistence. A pound of milk fresh from the milk bag of a cow is sufficient to feed an adult with all vitamins, values, and therefore saints and sages live only on milk. Even the poorest of the householders keep at least 10 cows, each delivering 12 to 20 quarters of milk. Therefore, no one hesitates to spare a few pounds of milk for the mendicants. It is duty of householders to maintain the saints and sages like children. So, a saint like Sukadeva Goswami would hardly stay at a house of a householder for more than 5 minutes in the morning. In other words, such saints are very rarely seen in the house of householders, and Parikshit Maharaj therefore prayed to him to instruct him as soon as possible. The householders also should be intelligent enough to get some transcendental information from visiting sages. The householder should not foolishly ask a saint to deliver what is available in the market. That should be reciprocal relation between the saints and householders.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So very important thing which I've already said, the most It is the same story, right? If you see, they say there's a story, right, in Chaitanya. So there's no point in having the value of a stone, which is of no use. So the Bruce affair story, right? Sanatana Goswami's story. Same way, Dhruva was so desperate to get the kingdom bigger than like Brahmaloka. But after seeing Krishna, right, he is telling that what is the point in me even asking for that? How stupid I've been, right? By looking at the grace. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He went and chanted, and the way he did Ashtanga Yoga, which was very strongly clubbed with Bhakti Yoga, right? So it was so strong that he virtually ate only fruit, drank only a glass of water, survived on leaves once a week. It created so much of vibe, just like not only for Hiranyakashipu, even for him, that the whole world, all the gods were shaking. So you can imagine what was the level of bhakti he had, intensity. And Lord appeared before him. The moment he saw Lord, what happened is his bhakti was for what? To get his kingdom. He just dropped. He said, forget it. I don't want. Right? And Vishnu Puram explains it that Lord also placed his hand on his cheek. And he told, you can come and sit on my lap. This was the offer the Lord gave. And this is clearly explained. Both why I'm bringing that in the context here is because Vishnu Puranam is also one of the top Sattvic Puranas, and it was written by Sukha. So whatever is little bit liftier is written there. So you can imagine the kind of feeling the child was feeling. Of course, obviously he gave a planet called the Dhruva Nakshatram, or the pole star, and both himself and his mother attained salvation. Even though Dhruva made, no, I won't use the word mistake, but went into a war with the Yakshas because they had killed his younger brother. In spite of that, the Lord made sure that his place over there was confirmed. So the reason I'm saying is, it is very important that we make best use of the sage, just like how Dhruva, whether as per Vishnu Puran he saw the Saptarishis, or as per Srimad Bhagavatam, or both, he made best use. So did Narada. Learn from the sages. You should make best use of them, because whenever we go to pilgrimage, always we are either shopping or doing all this. One such shopping experience is Mayapur, was when I was shopping with my family. My mama, my mommy, my mom, my daughter, all of us, my cousin, all of us were busy shopping, okay, without understanding who is Guru Maharaj also. And I still remember Namanishta Prabhu telling, come here. What, Prabhu? Come here. Okay. He said, afterwards you can shop, now you come inside. I told, okay. I didn't know what to do. I'm going inside. I told, Babe, Prabhu is calling. Then he told, do something. So that time I think, 2-3 of us were there. We were decorating the backdrop. So he said, quickly. Okay, we did that. And then he told, did you fill that form? What form? I still can remember that I was not even understanding what shelter is. He said, did you fill shelter form? I was thinking. I said, he said, forget it. I think I can't even place whether it is Shiva Prabhu or Sachidananda Prabhu. We'll fill the form, you go, take shelter. Okay. And I came. I don't know, they gave some shelter. That was my knowledge at the time. So what I'm telling you is, we just cannot ignore these people who are very senior, because automatically Lord puts us in place. Right? And when suddenly initiation, I never had the idea of taking, and all of that happened jiffy in a very short span. And at that time, when they asked me when was the shelter taken, then that time I'm putting in Mayapur with collar up, which was a fluke, or Krishna's mercy. I should not use, with the grace of Krishna and mercy of Namanishta Prabhu. Why I'm saying is, all this Krishna plans, and by just a moment association, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoi. So why? Because it's so cute. 1 second of association makes it powerful. How? I don't know. But it is there in Shastras, and we have to believe it because it has happened for people. Right? So even if we don't experience, doesn't matter. Some things we just have to believe. Hare Krishna. Okay, this sloka I'll take. Sutta Uvacha. Hare Krishna.
Sutta Uvacha.
Evam abhashita prastha.
Evam abhasita prashta.
Sarajna shloka nayargira.
Sarajna gira.
What is that word? Okay. Pratyabhasat shatadharmagno.
Pratyabhashata dharmagno.
Bhagavan Badarayanaihi.
Bhagavan Badarayanai.
Okay, the word by murdered is pronounced as what? Shlakshnaya, by sweet. Okay, thank you. Yeah, translation by Srila Prabhupada Vijay. Sri Sutta Goswami said, the king thus spoke and questioned the sage using sweet language. Then the great and the powerful personality, the son of Vyasadev, who knew the principles of religion, began his reply. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the first canto, 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Appearance of Sukadev Goswami. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to conclude this chapter and the canto.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Really,
Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Mataji.
thank you so much. Pran Chaitanya Prabhu will redo this, but I just thought, Krishna's mercy, I got a chance to interact with you all. And quickly, what we saw, important themes, which can be your thematic questions. I just thought I'll just take 2 minutes. We already saw the art of repentance, how one should feel, how one should repent, and how one should, that is one point. The other one is how you can seek blessings of elders, physically and mentally. That is taught. Third is consultation. Consultation is, that 7 days he took, he will be upavas, right? Today also upavas till lunch. So that we are seeing how it is important. We are also seeing what are the bitter results a materialistic life can give, and how a devotee is never entangled by this materialistic thought. And that is one point. And how great devotee is accepting even an awkward situation as an auspicious situation. With all this, we highlight humility of Parikshit, which we saw today. And we also talk about, we see how we should inquire with the spiritual master. And we saw how Sadhu Sangha has an impact, and how one can have a specific and a general question. It's going to come up. What is the purpose of a person? What is the most important thing a person should do in all situations? Generic. What is the one thing or the important thing of a dying man? More specific question. So these are the verses which we saw today, and these are the themes which we will be connecting. So I just thought I will give you a glimpse of that. And with this, we are virtually, Prabhu, you can stop sharing. Thank you so much. With this, we are with the end of the chapter and the end of canto. Prabhu will do a revision, because Prabhu will have to conclude this, not only the chapter and the canto, but I had also, we also requested, he was very kind, that how we will take this open book. Open book is the most difficult thing for me. I prefer a closed book because we can just write. First, when we are small, that open book seems so exciting. And I realized in Bhakti Shastri that open book, I think we wrote for hours together. I can't remember how many hours I wrote. I think it was nothing less than 7-8 hours. And that was the situation. So don't worry, I'm not here to scare you. I just want all of you all to enjoy the Ramanavami. And Prabhu will come back next week and give us a glimpse of how to take and make our journey for the exam, as well as this journey of Srimad Bhagavatam very dear. And one thing which I want to tell is Ramanavami, enjoy the moment, enjoy the day. If possible, go to the temple or take online darshan. Today, everybody is having this facility. And with that, a very small story I want to tell, which connects the Lord and the Guru, right? Is that okay? I'll take a minute for the story, if you're...
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So the story is the triangle story of Lord Ram, Sita Ma, and Balaram, right? Who's Lakshman. So I'm used to Balaram Dahu, so the name is coming through here. So what happens is, the moment he comes to know about going to the forest, he goes to Sita. And he goes to Sita Ma and he tells that, hey, I have to go to the forest, but I don't think you should come, because it's a very difficult task, right? We all know, yeah, it's tough, and she's been a princess. So you should stay here. So Sita says, no, I will not agree. He tries to convince. He says, please understand, my parents are here, my family is here, everybody is there, your sister is there, you have to take care of Bharat and Shatrukuna. So everybody is there. You just cannot, leave everything and come. She says, no, the Dharma Patni, as a Dharma Patni, my duty is definitely to take care of you as a husband. And he still, when he fights, she says that, what are you? What a guy you are, right? very clearly, fighting in the palace is not great. You should protect your wife even in a forest, right? That is why you are there. And she gives a very tough line, and Lord Rama thinks, oh my God, I will not argue further. He says, yes, you can come. After this, he goes to the palace of Lakshmana to tell him, you stay here, and all that same story. Now, as he enters the palace, right? And when I'm telling, these are not like our rooms, which we can overhear and all. These are like really huge. He says, Lakshmana, he says, yes, 1 second, I'm almost kept things ready. I will come. He's telling like, what? I've come here to tell you that you don't have to come because it is not something for you. It is for me. I am the one who has to go. Lakshmana says, how can you do this? How as a brother, you can keep changing your word now and then? Lord Rama is confused. I am meeting Lakshmana only now, right? I got one dose from Sita. Okay, understandable. So he explains also, see, I have to take Sita Ma and go, but with you, I don't have this rule. I don't have to take you and go. You don't have to come with me. There is no rule. He says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the rule. You just promise that you will take me. And how can you tell no so soon? Lord Rama is confused. How? When did I promise? What happened? I've been talking everything so carefully. I never brought up this conversation also of taking Lakshmana, and I've never spoken to Lakshmana. So, and I never spoke to Sita also that I'm going to take Lakshmana, because that conversation never came. At least that could be a possibility if I had told Sita could have done, and he's coming straight from the palace. So he asked Lakshmana, when did I tell? You just told to Sita. He was thinking, oh my God, CCTV flashback. How can all this happen? And that time, very beautifully, he tells, you told Sita Ma that Sita, you should stay here because you have to take care of parents. All that you told. And you told you have to take care of Bharat and Shatrukana, which means what? You never told my name, which means in your heart, you know for sure that I'm with you. So you gave me a promise, not directly to me, not directly to Sita Ma, but in your words and in your action, telling that Sita, you should take care of everybody, your sisters everywhere. And only my name was not there in the palace, which means that I am there with you. It's an unsaid promise. So you have to give your word. And Lord Rama is thinking, oh my God, this Lakshmana is Ananta Shesh, right? Adi Shesha. His ears are very powerful. And that moment he thought I should be very careful. The reason I'm telling you is Lord Rama represents Lord himself, right? He is Lord. So, and our Lakshmana is none other than representative of Balaram, who is again spiritual master's representation. The reason I'm telling you is the kind of communication which goes between the Lord and the spiritual master is an invisible line. It is so invisible that none of us can really understand or comprehend, because the Lord and the devotee themselves, that is a pure devotee who is a spiritual master, and the Lord themselves actually are bewildered by the actions of each other. Both of them are competing strongly who should win over the other person. And in that race, constantly Krishna or Ram today, the Lord, is failing. Always the devotee overtakes and goes. Because of course Krishna always stays. What he says, ye yatam mam prapadyante tam tateva bhajamyaham mana vartmanu vartante manushyam pata sarvashah. Okay, as much as the person does, I reciprocate. Spiritual master says, okay, everything is fine. And he also comes and tells, okay, the person who preaches my story is very dear to me. Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakte shabidakshasi mai kritam param gudya mai vaishyasya samshaya. Sorry, I slipped. So that also he says. So it keeps going on. So not only today, namaya tasmat bhavishyesu. Nobody can be more dear than that in future also. Sweetest person, Priyatama, all that is fine. And he also tells in Bhagavad Gita, it will come in Srimad Bhagavatam in Uddhava Gita, 11th canto as well. Do not preach to a non-devotee. But the beauty of the spiritual master is he does not care whether you love, you curse me, you blame me. It is also in one of our offenses, Aparad 10 offenses to the holy name. He still continues because he is so merciful, right? And he's so compassionate, and Lord is so merciful. So directly or indirectly, like how this is happening, they will take us to Goloka, they will take us to Ayodhya, they will take us to Vaikunta, wherever we want to go. But the little effort of walking and getting into the flight we have to do, because our visa is guaranteed by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Our tickets are also guaranteed. But the little step towards the flight is our step, which is our endeavor. And today I wish all of you all, I'm sure you all have not just the steps, but leaps of bhakti, which takes you all to Vaikuntha, and let that be our final destination. With this, I will sign off. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you once more. Hundred pranams.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Jai Srila Prabhupada Jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur Jai. Any doubts?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Enjoy your Ramanavami, and thank you once again. And thanks to all of them who helped today and in this entire journey of sharing the screen, not just today, all the time. Lalita Mataji and all, who's been always ready as a backup for any kind of admin work. Rohini Mataji for sharing attendance. Murli Prabhu for sharing. Usha Mataji, Priyadarshini Mataji always like to read, and Rohini Mataji to do the constant work. And please forgive me, I missed out quite a few Matajis, and Devika Shetty Mataji ready to help, and all of them. And most of all, with the end of this chapter on this day, Pran Chaitanya Prabhu readily believing me irrespective of any time, whether my health is good, bad, average. And he knows his philosophy is so high, and I'm nowhere close to him, but always he doesn't hesitate, does not hold by a word. And I sincerely thank each one of you all to be here and to bring all of us here together. Thank you so much, and I'll sign off. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Happy Ramanavami.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji. Wish you the same, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Everybody loud Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama.
Rama, Hare